Good morning. Welcome to the Better Business Workshop. Today we're looking at the concept of leverage, actually a term that's normally used in relation in business to finance, but actually we're going to look at it from a different point of view today. We're interested in how we get ever more from ever less in our business. And as always, I'm joined by my brilliant colleague, Gareth. Good morning, Gareth. How are you today? Getting blown away in this incredible storm?
Yeah, I'm good, Mark. I'm just trying to batten down the hatches as we speak.
Brilliant, Gareth. Good. All right. Well, look, as you hunker down, we're going to be looking today at the concept of leverage, right, and how we get ever more from ever less. So why don't you talk us through this? We've got some slides, I think, somewhere here.
Yeah. So really interesting subject, because this is what a lot of business owners in the kind of SME sector don't realize is hey, they think, hey, I should be doing the work, right? I need to be running this and running that and doing that. And as a consequence, what happens is, and you and I see this all the time, Mark, and if anybody's watching this and they understand this and they know that a business owner needs to listen to this, tag them in and get them to watch this, right? Because what happens is your kind of hourly rate goes down and down and down and down and down and down. And as the business owner, you should be doing £1,000 an hour tasks, stuff that only you can do, right?
Yeah.
And that's not what happens in the SME sector. Is business owners get pulled from this department to that department to this task to that task, and before they know it, instead of doing £1,000 an hour tasks, they're doing £10 an hour tasks. Right. And then they're getting pulled, and their love of the business goes because they're only doing those £10 an hour tasks, right?
Yeah, exactly. So actually, I mean, a lot of business owners start the business because they're really good at doing what they're doing, right, and they love it. And actually, they end up doing the work themselves over and over and over instead of scaling their business, right? There's been some. So we talk about building a system. What we don't mean is buy a load of IT, right? What we mean by some great examples. There's a couple. Henry Ford was one, right, Gareth? He built an incredible system which changed the world of the automobile. He built a great system for scaling the manufacture of cars, where previously they'd been done in a very customized way. He made that systematic. Yeah. The guy that founded McDonald's did that as well. Not only did he figure out how to make burgers, but the system he created, the intellectual property that enabled him to scale, was to be able to do that systematically all around the world in multiple countries through a massive network of franchisees, right? That's the leverage that they created in their businesses.
Yeah, and that's what you buy. What do you buy when you buy a McDonald's franchise? Do you buy a brand, or do you buy employees, or do you buy equipment or whatever? No, you buy a system, right? Yeah. And McDonald's are great. If anybody's out there and haven't watched a film called The Founder, I thoroughly recommend you find it and you watch it, because it illustrates this point so well. And McDonald's are very particular about who they take on as franchisees. You've got to work in the business for a certain amount of time before you're allowed a franchise. And that's totally, so you learn the system, and then everything that's done is by the system. It's always, okay, what does the system say? There is a system solution for everything, and they systemize the 80% and they humanize the 20%.
Totally.
And that's what we look to do in every.
So what do we mean? Here we go, Gareth. Here's some slides. So talk us through this. Leverage is ever more from ever less, right?
Yeah, like you said at the start, people think it's about money, and it can be, and we absolutely have some ways that we can leverage money in the business. But the other way to think about it is with your time as well. Okay, so how do you get more done in less time? I think there's a great phrase we have about this, which is do the work once, get paid forever. If you think about an author, how many times do they write a book? Once. How many times do they get paid for that book? Over and over and over. Their grandchildren will still be getting paid for that book. And that's the perfect example of what we want to achieve. Do the work once, get paid forever. Okay. Yeah. So how do we create a system where, as a business owner, we create the system and we might test it, and then it's a system that we can hand over to someone else. and they can do. And look, I always think, if you create a system for answering the telephone, right? If you create a script for answering the telephone, guess what? You never have to answer the telephone ever again, right?
Exactly.
If all you have to do is spend a month answering the telephone, work out the questions that you get asked over the phone by customers, prospects. You come up with you'll narrow it down to 20 questions, I think, in the end. Okay. And then you give that to someone else, right? And instead of 20 questions, you have 21, which is the question that isn't on the list, right? What do you do if there's a question not on the list, right? That's a great example of a system. I used to work in a very posh country hotel, when I was 15, 16, and they had a picture of the storeroom on the door, right? That's a system, right? Yeah. If the storeroom doesn't look like this, you're doing something wrong, right? Totally. Make sure the storeroom looks like this. Yeah. That's a start for a system. It's a checklist. It's a picture. If something doesn't look like this, you're doing it wrong, right? I got taught in the armed forces. You think it's really pedantic, but the way you pack a rucksack, right, is very systemized in the armed forces. You get taught it. You practice it, right? I spent hours packing and unpacking a rucksack, for crying out loud, right? But when I had to do it for real, everything went in. I didn't miss anything. I knew exactly where everything was, right? Yeah. And it just made the whole thing a whole lot easier. Packing a suitcase right now, by the way, and I'm really pedantic about it, because of that, because it sticks with me, right? People hate going on holiday because I'm like, no, you pack like this. That's a system.
So in the business, and the simplest system, by the way, can be a checklist, folks. So a written checklist. But what we're talking about, the £1,000 task that you spoke about at the beginning, Gareth, is to create the system, and then you turn that into a £10 task by employing other people to do it. So the leverage is investing time in the intellectual property of systematizing the business, which kind of brings us on to this piece, right? Do you want to talk us through this?
Yeah, and this is what I was saying before. Do the work once, get paid forever. How can you create a system where people might pay on a kind of monthly basis or whatever? Like the membership economy is so good for this, right? Netflix and Amazon Prime and all that have blown this out the water, because all they have to do is sign you up once, and you never ever miss that $4.99 a month or $8.99 a month, whatever it is. Okay, so how do they do the work once and get paid forever? And a membership economy is perfect for that, right? There are things within your business that you can do once and get paid forever. It's a case of identifying those, creating the system, and doing it.
Love it, Gareth. Absolutely brilliant. All right. Okay. Look, folks, it's been fantastic to share this stuff with you today. If you want to come and jump on a strategy review with us and come and talk about how we can help you to systematize your business, then go and have a look at the website. Go to miltonkeynes.actioncoach.co.uk and book yourself a strategy review there. You can also, there's a ton more content like this over on our VIP group on social media, on Facebook and LinkedIn. Come and join us at the Better Business Workshop. We'd love to see you over there, and there's a ton more content. We're going to be back on Monday morning as usual at 8 a.m. Gareth, it's been absolutely brilliant to see you as always. Thank you so much for joining, and I wish you well in riding out this storm. I know that you're down in the southwest and you're getting it before we are up here in Milton Keynes. It's pretty hairy already, right? And it's about to get worse.
We're just going to run out. Just in case I'm seeing it out.
Yeah, good luck with that, Gareth. I hope it goes well, and we'll see you on Monday morning. Thanks so much for joining.